Time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catalfamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. I want to thank you for joining me. On today's show, we're talking Coconino National Forest, and my guests in studio are Deputy Public Affairs Officer George Josen and making his television debut, National Forest Deputy District Ranger Josh Peck. Josh, guys, thank you very much for coming on.
Hey, good morning, Phil. Good morning.
So, the Coconino National Forest, you've got some prescribed burns continuing. They happened in September and October. How much of the targeted area have you guys burned this year? Were you able to accomplish all of the areas that you wanted to handle? Any?
So, yes, they're going to be continuing. As far as prescribed burning goes, we're out of that season with the snow and the weather. We'll be picking those up again in the spring. We did not get everything done that we wanted to get done, so there will definitely be more burning this spring. Specifically on the Flagstaff Ranger District, we're looking along the 89A corridor and some of the other areas that we didn't quite get to this fall. So
we're going to be seeing a lot more prescribed burns going into the rest of this fall season.
In the spring.
In the spring. Sorry, yes, in the spring.
Yeah, the spring we'll get a lot more, not only the Flagstaff Ranger District, but the Mogi and Rim Ranger District has a lot of burning to do as well for the Craigin Watershed Protection Project. Like they have the Flagstaff Watershed Protection Project that they're burning the slash piles. Now, this time of year, Mogi and Rim is trying to burn some slash piles as well.
And you mentioned the slash piles, and they're obviously going to be continuing. So for me, somebody who's not used to slash burns or prescribed burns or whatever kind of burn, so I'm from California, like what is the difference, if you guys want to break down just kind of the difference between a prescribed burn and a pile burn? Because at least in my interpretation of a pile burn, I just imagine a giant pile of sticks and you light it on fire and then you clean it up and then you walk away. So
if you think about the how the fuels are arranged, so you have pine needles and tops and limbs, a slash is just when you put it all together, and when a prescribed burn, we call it a broadcast burn, is when it's basically distributed across the landscape. So same objective is to get rid of the fuel, it's just how it's arranged. So it's in a pile or it's across a lot of ground. That's the main difference.
And there's a couple different piles that we have. We have hand piles where there's a hand crew out there and they pile these limbs up, and we have these machine piles where they take great big machinery and they make piles sometimes as big as a building or sometimes as large as the log deck that they're next to.
Yeah, and you told me that before we started that big old pile of sticks as tall as a building. That's insane. Are we talking one story or two story?
Well,
most of the time one story.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest issues that you guys are having right now is, you have the snow play areas, but a lot of people are leaving broken sleds and these pieces of plastic everywhere. Can you talk to me about the snow play areas and also the issue you guys are having with those sleds?
So snow play, a difficult topic for us sometimes. You look at, a lot of it occurred on the 180 corridor, and we've in the past closed that off so that because of safety concerns along that road. So opportunities for other places to go, the Cinder Hills and Lake Mary Road, and then of course a lot of people use the I-17 corridor, which is not the best place because there's a lot of traffic and safety issues there. The broken sled issue, we'd just like people to pick them up and take them back with them, put them in the dumpster instead of leave them out in the forest. It's a problem for us to have to try and clean all that up later in the year or when the snow comes off. So we'd appreciate it if people just took them with them when they're done.
And you guys aren't, you don't necessarily have a janitorial service. You guys are the ones going out there and picking up every single piece of plastic from up off the ground. Right. It's really become an issue.
Sure. Now that the 180 Corridor Coalition has got a grip on US 180 north of Flagstaff, they've got the no parking signs up, and those gates are all blocked off, so there's no snow play there. I think a lot of that debris is going to slow down and go away. In the past, we've used county inmates to go out and assist us with our recreation guys to go out and assist in picking up all those pieces.
Yeah, that's perfect. And you mentioned off air that there was a company that is taking those. The company in Flagstaff is actually taking those broken pieces of sled and turning them into clipboards. I know we may not have the specific information about that, but at least somebody's doing something with the broken plastic and recycling it and making something out of it.
Sure. Yeah, I saw some social media clips where they were actually taking the broken sled pieces and making them into clipboards. And I said, so when we have those piles of dumpsters, I guess we know who to call.
Yeah, well, they got to give you guys a couple of those clipboards, right? I mean,
yeah, I think so. At least get their logo out there.
Yeah, definitely. They got to put a nice big Forest Service Road or Forest Service Department sign right on the back of those. But where do you guys think that issue stems from? I mean, at least for me, I was always taught that you clean up after yourself, and it's to me a little insane that you have to constantly be reminding people, hey, the Forest Service, the Forest Road or Forest Floor, excuse me, is not just used by us, but it's also used by the critters and the animals and stuff that live in that area. And broken pieces of plastic could look like something to someone else, and more specifically like an animal wanting to pick it up and eat it, and now you really run into an issue.
Right. We always, tell people if you pack it in, pack it out. So that's the biggest thing is leave no trace when you're out there in the forest.
And I'll say, it's not a common thing just for sledding. The forest is a common place for people to leave all kinds of their debris, and when they go out and camp, they leave stuff in their campsites. It's not just sleds, but it's a land use ethic, like George said, about taking the stuff with you that you bring and taking it back out.
Seems like Smokey the Bear should add, only you can prevent forest fires, and also please clean up your broken sleds. Yeah. That's what they should add to the end of that.
That's what Woodsy Owl's for.
Yes, there you go. That's right. That's right. Yeah, what is it? Give a hoot, don't pollute, or something
very
like that?
good.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, all right.
Good.
So I'm not from the area, but I know I'm familiar with some of it.
Yep.
You mentioned snow play. There are designated areas where people can go and play in the snow, but there has been some issues of people pulling off on the side of the road and just playing in snow because it's there, and that has also been a very big issue.
Right. It's not legal to pull off on the side of the interstate, the side of a highway, and just pull your sled out and go sledding. You don't want the children going across the interstate. And, Fort Tuthill County Park has lots of snow play, inner tubes. They tow you up, they rent you the tube, you go flying down the hill. It's a lot of fun. They also make snow there. So they've been open for a couple weekends now, and I know they're open this weekend. So Flagstaff, Fort Tuthill, you don't even have to get into Flagstaff. It's right there across from the airport. So
yeah, Fort Tuthill is actually pretty cool. I got an opportunity to go there with some friends of mine last month and do the obstacle course and whatnot. But it's a really neat area, and it's a better way to enjoy the snow without leaving those broken pieces of sled and stuff. And of course, this doesn't apply to those who do actually pick up the broken pieces and put them in the trash can. But it's still an issue nonetheless. George,
we also have people who take back more than what they brought out, which we really appreciate. Yeah. Especially Memorial Day, when the spring comes around and the forest opens back up for camping. We've had to remove couches and dumpsters full of stuff from certain campsites. So
they're bringing a couch camping?
Yeah, and left an entire. That to me is ridiculous. You leave an entire couch.
So. How do you get? You bring the couch and you use it, and then you're like, okay, we got everything. Now let's leave, and they forgot the entire couch. But no, it definitely. If like you said, what you pack out, pack back in. Don't leave your broken sled pieces all over the forest floor. It is causing a significant issue. Do not play in the snow on the side of the highway for many reasons outside of the fact that it's extremely dangerous. We have designated snow play areas. Go enjoy them. Go see these guys at the Coconino National Forest. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to keep talking to George and Josh about the Coconino National Forest. Countywide will be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Start your journey toward better health with Ageless Touches Massage Therapy. Licensed massage therapist Richard Stevens uses the latest and best equipment to relieve scar tissue, electronic smog, and tinnitus. Ageless Touches does everything they can to work your issues down to the bone. Improve your path to better health with Ageless Touches Massage.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family friendly, open 11:30 to 9. Late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Two things we can count on every year.
A new set of tax rules and great weather here in northern Arizona.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, locally owned and operated by Lewis Rice since 1997, is here for you all year long.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Office will help you in all of your taxing situations.
Electronic filing is always free with your tax preparation at Jackson Hewitt Tax Service.
Get more in return. Call 1-800-234-1040 for an office near you.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
I want to welcome you back to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. On today's show, we are talking Coconino National Forest, and my guests in studio today are Deputy Public Affairs Officer George Josens, and making his Countywide debut, that is Deputy Forest District Ranger Josh Peck. Guys, we talked about pile burns. There is something that I forgot to mention. The biggest issue that a lot of people have with the prescribed burns, the pile burns, is the smoke. And you guys either have purchased or in the process of purchasing a air curtain burner. What is that?
So it's actually Coconino County that purchased it.
Okay.
So the air curtain burner is a big metal box that you can put slash in, and it has I'm going to get it wrong, but it has a layer of air over the top that holds in some of the smoke, or dissipates some of the smoke in a different manner. So we're working with the county, Coconino County, on a test project that's actually supposed to start today to see how we can utilize that tool in the future to maybe diminish smoke in some of our important areas, along the interstate corridors and things like that. So,
and that's kind of the idea of the air curtain burner, is to reduce the smoke as much as it physically can, to where it's really, you can't even notice it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And my understanding is the ACB burns hotter, so it burns that fuel up faster, and they just have to keep pouring it into there, and the air keeps the smoke in, and eventually you get some smoke out of it, but not a lot.
And George, you mentioned off air that there's a couple upcoming pile burns and that you guys are trying to accomplish right now?
Right. We've been trying to do pile burns since the first snow hit. Actually, before that, even when some rain hit. And the weather keeps getting in our way, which is not a bad thing, because we'll get the pile burns done sometime over the winter. But yeah, yesterday they tried to light some piles in the Flagstaff Ranger District, and it was still too wet. And then now we're going the other way. They're afraid that it's dried out too much around them, so we don't want to get the creeping going from the piles as well. So we'll have to wait for some more snow up there. But the Mogollon Rim Ranger District down in the Happy Jack, Clance Wells area, they have some piles in the Craig and Watershed Protection Project that they're hoping to light up today.
Yeah, no, that's great. There was something that we also forgot to mention when we were talking about the broken sleds, which was the abandoned campfires, which is equally as bad, if not a lot worse, than a couple broken plastic sleds. People even walking away from their campsites, not only walking away from open fires, but also walking away from full sofas, apparently. So,
yeah, the big thing when you're in the forest, everybody wants a campfire, especially this time of year. You need to stay warm, want to cook some food, but don't go to sleep and leave that thing burning. Don't go on your hike and leave it sitting there. We have 600 plus abandoned campfires every year on the Coconino National Forest, and that's just the Coconino. That's not the Kaibab and the other 4 or 5 forests around us. So those can creep out and create a wildfire just as easy as throwing a cigarette down or what have you. So remember what Smokey says: drown it, stir it, drown it again, stir it again. Feel it with the back of your hand. Make sure that it's cold to the touch before you leave it.
Yeah, leaving some plastic, leaving a couple plastic sleds is one thing, but leaving an entire campfire, like we said, is just is extremely not a good idea. Another thing that we were going to mention is Christmas tree permits. It is getting very, very close to Christmas time, and we wanted to bring up Christmas tree permits. So, guys?
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
We still do have a few.
Yeah. There's a few at the Coconino National Forest Supervisor's Office for the Mogollon Rim Ranger District, and then the Mogollon Rim Ranger District office also has some to sell. Flagstaff Ranger District is out, and so is the Red Rock Ranger District. So,
from what I understand, those things go pretty quick.
Yeah,
they do in our forest. The Kaibab National Forest, Apache Sitgreaves, and the Prescott may still have some as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go get your Christmas tree permits and get that beautiful pine in the house. I mean, really. Gates and barriers. You guys have blocked a few of the Forest Service roads. Can we talk about that? Again, kind of where those are blocking, why they're getting blocked.
So Flagstaff Ranger District, we closed all the gates on the 180 corridor. We did that in conjunction with that big snowstorm we got over Thanksgiving. That's not something that's new to this year. We do that every year. And we tried to keep most of the other areas open because we had all those hunts going on during that time. So the next big snowstorm that we get, we're probably going to look at closing most of the other gates on our district, and I think that's probably what the Mogollon Rim is also going to do when they get their next big snow. They're probably going to start closing all the gates as well.
And it's definitely a big safety thing because people driving on those Forest Service roads, those roads are extremely uneven, and not just like, your pavement's got maybe a little dip. I mean, there are some significant holes in those roads.
Yeah, and they're dirt roads. They're dirt and gravel. So if you get in there, the road gets soft, you rut it up, you can't get through, you get stuck, you tear up the roads, and we don't have a budget to really fix them, so you're going to drive on those potholes for the next year or so till everything kind of evens out.
And I'll add that if the road's closed and somebody decides to drive back there and get stuck, I mean, we don't have a tow truck either, so that's a private payment to
call your
get
insurance
somebody to come
company,
get
'cause
you.
that's how you're going to get out.
Yep.
In addition to all those roads being closed over Thanksgiving, we did close the Mogollon Rim roads, and then they opened back up right after Thanksgiving weekend. From our understanding with Arizona Game and Fish, the big hunts are gonna end this week, today, I believe, and so there's not going to be that hunting influence out there. They'll start pulling the trailers out for the weekend, and most of the people, there's still a few of them stuck north of the peaks. So.
Yeah, and like you said, it's very important not to drive on those Forest Service roads, and it really doesn't matter what kind of high-terrain vehicle or big truck you have. It's very important to stay off of those service roads, and there's a reason that they're closed, and it's because you guys don't want people driving on those roads.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, once the snow's packed in there, we have snowmobile trails, ATV trails. You can hike in there, snowshoe, whatever you want to do. The forest is open for you to use. You just can't go through the gate and use it.
And like you said, again, if you find yourself stranded on a Forest Service road while it's blocked and you decided to go through it, these guys are not going to be driving out there to go get you. They're not going to be bringing you a glass of water and a warm hug. They're going to be hopefully calling the fire department or somebody, and you're going to have to wait there for a little while to pull you out, and then everybody can look at you in shame because you drove on the Forest Service road when you weren't supposed to. So
yeah, if you need rescued, call 911. Right. Sheriffs will come out there and get you on a snowmobile and leave your rig there, and your insurance will have to deal with that.
Yeah, I just saying. I was going to one camp. I went to go hike with a buddy of mine. We barely made it through in his little Hyundai on some of those roads, and I've driven through some of those service roads, and they are very, very rough. But we're just kind of recapping here. We've got some more upcoming pile burns. The Coconino National Forest has received an air curtain burner, which we're getting close to testing and hopefully in the future taking advantage of that and reducing the smoke impacts as much as possible. If you have sled trash, please throw it away. Take your sofas from your campsites, which is apparently an issue. Also, Christmas tree permits, there are still some available on the Coconino National Forest and a few of the other forests not in Flagstaff. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll keep talking to George and Josh from the Coconino National Forest. Don't go anywhere.
Feng Shui artistry, the oldest form of development planning, today known as the art of placement. For 26 years, master Feng Shui educator, practitioner, artist, and author Caroline Patrick Bournet has used ancient rules of environmental, physical, and spiritual harmony to support clients' health, knowledge, creativity, and success. In mapping your home, you'll understand yourself. Better living is the gift of a lifetime. Change your life one room at a time. Schedule your Home Therapy 101 consultation today.
Show your customers how much they matter to you. Follow up with a real card in just 60 seconds with Send Out Cards. Send Out Cards makes it easy for busy professionals to leave a memorable impression. Stay in touch with a simple one-step process from your phone or computer to their mailbox. Call Judy today at 928-202-2557. That's 928-202-2557.
Been hearing about the crazy benefits of CBD? Find out how CBD can help you at Sedona's #1 resource, CBD Sedona. Come in for a free consultation and let our trained medical staff help you find the perfect product for you. Pain-relieving salves, full-spectrum oils, honeys, teas, cookies, and even CBD for pets. Ready to feel fantastic? Come on by CBD Sedona today.
Metaphysics. What does it mean? It's a branch of philosophy, literally beyond the science of matter. Sedona's University of Metaphysics studies the ultimate nature of existence, reality, and experience. Join 14,000 graduates in over 120 countries, helping others in counseling, coaching, ministry, and much more. The University of Metaphysics is here to serve the best in you so you can serve the best in others. universityofmetaphysics.com.
I want to welcome you back here to Countywide. I'm your host, Philip Catalfamo. My two guests in studio today are Deputy Public Affairs Officer George Josen and National Forest Deputy District Ranger Josh Peck. We are talking Coconino National Forest. Just kind of recapping the first two segments. If you have any trash that you left on the Coconino National Forest floor or any floor in general on the for the forest, please pick it up, throw it away. What you pack out, pack back in. We talked about the pile burns that are going to be going on, the locked gates, the blocked barriers, the county's air curtain burner that will be getting tested very soon, and coordinates with the Coconino National Forest. Wanted to clarify that. Social medias are a huge thing at Coconino NF on Twitter and Facebook. You get all the press releases, you get all the information ran by that man right there, George Josens, and also the website www.coconinonationalforest.us. Guys, what are some priorities for the upcoming year?
So forest priorities, of course, are continuing our good work in landscape restoration, both with timber sales and fire as a tool to help restore the Ponderosa pine ecosystem to what it was more like in the past. And then I'll mention one other one for the Flagstaff Ranger District, specifically the Mount Eldon Dry Lake Hills planning process, which is a recreation trail system in the Mount Eldon Dry Lake Hills area. That'll be another priority for our district specifically.
Yeah, and we're going to continue with the Craigin Watershed Protection Project and the partnerships they have there with APS and others to thin that forest down and make it a better place as well.
Volunteers, I would assume, play a part in the National Forest Service. Where can people go to volunteer?
Any of the Ranger District offices, the Flagstaff Ranger District office across from the mall, Red Rock Visitor Center right there on 179 in Sedona, and the Mogollon Rim Ranger District on Highway 87.
Josh, do you have anything?
I'll mention there's two friends groups that also take volunteers. I don't know what the Red Rock one is, but the Northern Arizona, the Friends of Northern Arizona Forests, FONAF as we call them, we work a lot with them. They do quite a bit of project work for us, and those are also good places to get plugged in for volunteers.
Yeah, definitely go get involved with the Forest Service if that's something that you're interested in. Again, the website is www.coconinonationalforest.us. Social media at Coconino NF on Twitter and Facebook. Go give them a follow, go give them a like. I have already done so because, I got to be plugged in with all the service stuff going on, or the forest stuff going on here. I think we've pretty much covered everything. Like I said, there's some more upcoming pile burns. We had mentioned the air curtain burner where you can go to volunteer. Snow play, once again, any trash that you leave out, please throw it away on the forest floor. Anything you pack in or pack out, pack back in. Give a hoot, don't pollute. I honestly feel like we've covered a lot today, which is great, guys. Yep. Thank you very, very much for coming on. Once again, the social media at Coconino NF, Twitter and Facebook ran by George Josens. Very, very informative. Yeah, website one more time, coconinonationalforest.us. Guys, once again, Josh, thank you very much for coming on, making your debut. Yeah. George, it's nice to meet you. And with that, in the words of our news director, Paul David, we'll talk to you again next time.